Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my hope that you're doing fine wherever you are. I'm also okay. Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. You all know Edwin Sifuna, a very vibrant politician, young, by the way, with a political future. In this video, I want to walk you through what I believe is the process through which Edwin Sifuna decided to ruin his political career. Now, I know there are some of you who believe that currently Edwin Sifuna is going against the grain and is going to emerge triumphant. Okay? I respect your belief, but hear me out. There are things that you do in politics that we call expensive mistakes. They cost you a lot, and in some cases, they can destroy your political career once for all. I once gave an example, and I shared with you that Edwin Sifuna should have taken a lesson from Ababu Namwamba. Ababu was more vocal than Edwin Sifuna. He was more articulate than Edwin Sifuna. He was more arrogant than Edwin Sifuna. And above all, he had a serious clout in ODM than Edwin Sifuna. Yet when he went against the position of the party, and by the party I mean what Raila Odinga wanted, he became cozy with William Ruto, who by that time Raila Odinga considered a competitor. What happened, ladies and gentlemen? Ababu Namwamba was kicked out of ODM. As popular as he was kicked out. Then what followed? He tried to vie for the position of MP in Budalangi. Outside ODM, Ababu Namwamba lost and has never been elected to date. What saved him was that he had a soft landing. He had picked to befriend people who are going to guarantee that even if he's not elected, he was still going to be in public life. And so by picking William Ruto did not abandon Ababu Namwamba. He was a CAS, a CAS in Uhuru's government in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and later a minister in William Ruto's government. Even as we speak, Ababu Namwamba is an ambassador with the UN, courtesy of William Ruto. So, even though he made a mistake that cost him elective positions almost forever, he had a soft landing. That is not what is happening with Sifuna. Sifuna is exactly the opposite. He is picking war with Raila Odinga, yet he doesn't have a soft landing. Let's say ODM was to get rid of Sifuna today. What is his soft landing? What is his next option? Because let me give you an instance. If ODM decided to be nasty with Sifuna, first of all, they will get rid of him as the Secretary General of the party and then expel him from the party. He will spend time going from tribunals to that tribunal to this court, trying to injunct the process of being removed. But as you remember, when the powers that be want you out, then even these courts are not going to spare Edwin Sifuna. So he will find himself out. And once he finds himself out, what do you think Edwin Sifuna would do? What do you think is his way out? What does he do? Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are saying that Edwin Sifuna is charting his own political path and is on the right course, I am asking you, if he was to be kicked out of ODM party, meaning he loses his seat as a senator, would Edwin Sifuna be re-elected in a by-election in Nairobi as a senator? Is that possible? Can Rigathi guarantee that? Can the so-called Kenya Moja is gathering, can the Gen-Zs guarantee Edwin Sifuna's re-election? It can't. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, I am persuaded Edwin Sifuna ruined his political career. So how did he do it? That is what I want to walk you through in this video. And if you're finding value already from this video, like it and share it with friends. Also consider subscribing so that when we produce videos of this nature, you are notified, ladies and gentlemen. Edwin Sifuna, I began this video by telling you, is a promising young politician. That is not just a common phrase. When you mean promising, it means this person has a future to be more than what they are currently. Edwin Sifuna had what it takes to be the governor, even be a deputy president, and later president of the republic. There is nothing that was stopping Edwin Sifuna, because what he did initially, he crafted his way into ODM and got the favor of those who matter in ODM, that is Raila Odinga. However, out of teenage excitement, for lack of a better phrase, out of teenage excitement, Edwin Sifuna forgot how he became the Secretary General of the party, let alone how he was elected senator. I have told you on this channel that when Edwin Sifuna went for a competitive post in Kandui, in his backyard, he did not win the nomination. And guess what? He lost the nomination when he was already the Secretary General of ODM. So it tells you how unpopular Edwin Sifuna in a competitive race is, because both the Secretary General position and the ticket to go and vie at the Senate were never competitive. Edwin Sifuna was handed over these tickets. He was told, now moving forward, you are the SG of the party. He didn't have the mandate from the people. Never. Raila Odinga just picked it the way he picked Badi, the way he picked most of these people. When it came to the issue of Senate, having failed in Kandui, Edwin Sifuna was given a direct ticket in Nairobi to vie. But he forgot all this, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, Edwin Sifuna got carried away, being cheered on by the so-called Gen Zs on social media, made Edwin Sifuna forget reality and jumped right into utopia. And in this utopia, Edwin Sifuna believed that he had the capacity to speak for the party without consulting Raila Odinga. So Edwin Sifuna would say things and add the word and add the phrase, I am speaking in my capacity as the SG of ODM. He would say things that openly were contradicting the positions Raila Odinga had taken, but he would be like, I am saying this because I am speaking on behalf of ODM and I have consulted Raila Odinga. You see, there are these people who, when you shower them with praises, they get easily carried away. In Swahili, they say, mgema akisifiwa, tembo hulitia maji. You get carried away and do some silly things, things that are now going to work against you. And that is what happened to Sifuna. Some few praises from the so-called Gen Zs on social media, being called to media houses, being given that airtime, and he speaks condescendingly to other panelists and is praised. Within a short time, he forgot that he was an affirmative action candidate, that even his position as the SG was purely affirmative action. Not that he merited, not that he had gone through vigorous campaign and was rewarded by the people, no. He forgot that, and Edwin Sifuna started speaking out of turn. That is when I realized that at times education is not enough. You must be emotionally intelligent. You must have what we call temperance, control. You must know what to say when and where. At times I call it caution. Sifuna lacked that in ways I've never seen, because he would go and speak with authority, yet the person who runs that party would say the exact opposite. But Sifuna would insist that that was the position of the party. It went like that because he had a cheering squad. It went like that to the point that Sifuna now started lecturing the likes of Wandai and the likes of Badi. Yes, if he met them in Senate, he would really lecture them. If he met them in a meeting or in a funeral, Sifuna would read them a riot act. And Sifuna would really dismiss broad-based government. And I was wondering, who is advising this young man? Because even though I have not won any political seat personally, and I am yet to vie, but I know one reality in politics, that in politics you don't bite the finger that is feeding you. You try that, you go home. Ask the likes of Oruoba. You want to have some independence. At the same time, you want to depend on a party that you are criticizing. You want to have some political independence, yet you are a nominated member of Senate. You will go home. And no amount of drama is going to save you. I know that when you are holding a position that is appointive, not elective, appointive, because Sifuna, being the Secretary General of ODM, is appointive, he's not elected. And I've told you that even his position as a senator is affirmative action. He was given that ticket, direct ticket. He didn't compete with people to win that ticket. When you know that you are in parliament because you were done a favor, and you know you are sitting as the SG because somebody had mercy on you, you can't act as if you have a mandate. That is some politics 101. Basics, by the way. But Sifuna didn't look at things like that. So he started speaking out of turn. And he had a cheering squad that were telling him, say it as it is, Sifuna for governor, Sifuna is my favorite senator. And I told you, in this world, whatever you do, however bad it is, you will have people who cheer you on. You will never lack people who cheer you on into your own grave. I will tell you that. So Sifuna started to speak against Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga would be like, we are going for dialogue. Sifuna will be siding with the agencies. Raila Odinga would be saying, we have come up with an MOU. Sifuna would read that MOU, but then come up with some conditions of his own and say, this MOU is dependent on this and this and this. And if you don't do that, ODM is not with you. Sifuna would even go to the media to declare that the MOU between ODM and UDA is dead. And he would say, I'm saying this in my capacity as SG of ODM. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what destroyed Sifuna. Sifuna's beautiful political career, that was just starting, ended because he was carried away. Excitement. He couldn't handle a few praises online. They made him feel superior. The people in the media, the likes of the people from opposition, the likes of Rigathi, made him feel like he was so valuable, so important that ODM could not do without him. So what is the status of Sifuna today? Remember, he promised that if Raila Odinga says they are working with William Ruto till 2027, he would leave. He never left. But that is not strange. Sifuna even said that if Ruto became president, he would leave Kenya. He didn't leave Kenya. He's here. He's making noise here. So him with threats, that is normal. But I want to tell you the pathetic state Sifuna finds himself in. And I'm saying pathetic because I don't have any other word to describe this, ladies and gentlemen. Edwin Sifuna is still the Secretary General of ODM party. ODM is one of the largest, if not the largest political party in this country. You are their SG, which means you are the official spokesperson of the party. Yet, the party does not give a damn about you. They don't care what your opinion is. They don't even invite you nowadays to read their official position. When the PG was done, Sifuna, who is the party secretary, who would have spoken on behalf of ODM, was nowhere. He thought rebelling, refusing to go, it even mattered. Nobody even bothered him. So they have decided to ignore him. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, being in that situation where you are the spokesperson of the party and that party moves on as if you don't exist. Yes, they do things as if you don't exist, to the point that I started having pity on Sifuna. The other day he was in Kakamega, I think, and he was saying, I want to apologize on behalf of ODM for the things they have done. I'm speaking in my capacity as the SG. Nobody even cared. He did not even get a rebuttal. Nobody gave a damn. Nobody cared whatever Sifuna was saying. Nowadays, his tantrums are treated as such. Whatever he says is treated as just tantrum. If he wants to go, he can go. If he doesn't want to go, he can stay and enjoy the humiliation. That is how Sifuna found himself. Today, his options are very limited. Either he goes back to Raila Odinga, apologize, and start praising broad-based government, which his ego might not allow, or he just enjoys the humiliation until he is thrown out, which may happen, or he just resigns and joins Rigathi Gachagua. Anyway, I just wanted to walk you through how Sifuna destroyed his political career through unnecessary excitement, arrogance, nothing more. And today, ODM doesn't care. You are the Secretary General of a party, and that party doesn't care whether you exist or you don't exist. And they are not even interested whether you start a new coalition or what, whether you chant one term. Nobody cares anymore. And you are not even invited where Raila is nowadays. So, he is losing. Unless a miracle happens and the so-called Gen Zs miraculously become a majority and elect him into Senate again, Sifuna might not be an elected leader after 2027. That is what I wanted to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. If you found value in this video, like it, share it with friends. Also consider subscribing. Otherwise, if you want to know how ODM is torturing Edwin Sifuna, watch this video.